Welcome to the Thursday Roundtable. Oh, I'm little than normal. So what I've done is I've literally this week as well, wasn't much notice, I just dragged a few of my fave people together on a Thursday afternoon, just to talk about their journey. We call it like the Helen story, which sounds quite egocentric to be honest, but it's kind of like people always have a story to tell of like how they found out about me, what they did, usually which challenge. Oh, Debbie's coming along as well. They usually remember the challenge they were in, but I think it's really important for it to not just be me talking about, you know, the program or talking about the results that I've got. It's really powerful for you to hear about the results that the people have got. Hi, Debbie.
Hiya, sorry, I was just on another Zoom.
No, it's all right. So the format's pretty simple. We're just going to go around, just introduce yourselves, however, what you do. And then just your experience of, coming into my world, where you were at before, what's happened since. And let's go for it, because we've got about 45 minutes or so. So we do 5 to 10 minutes each, should be plenty. Nicola Lutz, I love your outfit.
Thank you. It's the necklace you love, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just realised I look like I haven't ironed this shirt.
No, that necklace is next level. I love it.
I love a chunky necklace. So my Helen story. So I first heard about Helen actually through a challenge I did with Phil Harrison, and he used all of your stuff actually as examples. And then I went and followed you and did your challenge probably, don't know, 18 months ago, something like that. And I resisted. I didn't want to niche. I was working with kind of 2 sectors and I didn't want to. And actually, it's only in the last 6 months or so that I have properly niched and focused. And oh my goodness, it gets so much better results. Wish I'd done it before. Wish I just listened earlier. But anyway, done it now. So that's how I came in. So I joined the Mastermind. I think within the first week, I went through some of the materials, launched my £99 thing, which was interesting. Did that, got, I don't know, I can't even remember how many sales, something like 18 sales within a couple of weeks, just of the £99 thing.
That's an ROI right there, right? Isn't it?
And I didn't say what I did. So actually I'm a sales trainer and coach. So I help people make more sales in a very non-icky way. It's not really my style. It's very human to human and mostly B2B as well. And anyway, so I did that. I love going to the sessions. I love being accountable. It takes someone quite strong to kind of keep me in line. So that's why I like Helen's style. I like someone who's going, just effing do it, is one of the favourite phrases in the group. And I think, yeah, you're right. I need to just bloody stop fanning around, Nicola, and just get it done. And I'm a bit like a teenager sometimes. I'm a bit huffy and puffy about doing some of it. I do it anyway because it works. It's really annoying that it works, but it does. I'm a bit of a child about the whole thing, but anyway, it does work. So in terms of results, so obviously joining the Mastermind has had results, but the consistency of doing the posts and comments and the links just pays dividends. People see me, they're always commenting, especially when I go to events and think, oh, I see all your stuff, I see your lives, I listen to it while I'm brushing my teeth. And it just makes me the person that they go to when they want sales training. That's what happens. They say, oh yeah, we thought of you when we were looking at our sales conference or our sales training. And in terms of leads, I get a good, and I'm quite niche now I've done it, I get a good 2 to 3 solid leads per week that nearly always convert, actually, and always for huge amounts. Some of them are bigger than others. And one I had yesterday, I think it was, that I thought I'd mention is, so I work with lots of language schools and boarding schools and people like that. And a lady from a boarding school that I've never met, she's obviously commented on a few LinkedIn things and stuff. She said, oh, I'd like a couple of sessions with you. I was like, fine, when do you want them? And she just booked them. She didn't even ask the price, just booked them, paid the invoice, and off you go. So that was fabulous. And normally I expect, I'm in sales, I expect to negotiate and chat about price and build value and all this fabulous stuff. She was like, no, I know that you're the one. Off we go. Let's book that in for a couple of weeks' time. So that's good. And she's also on the board of a big organisation that has access to loads of my ideal clients. So she's getting me a speaking gig with that group as well. So that gives me access to an even wider network. So the kind of ripple effect is huge. And it feels like on LinkedIn particularly that no one's really watching or commenting, and you just think it's all a bit going out into the ether. Feel a bit lonely, but they're watching and they're seeing it. And not only that, my clients do it as now, because I've recommended the challenge and things to, and in fact the mastermind to some clients, and now they're doing more and they can see the results as well. And they're like, oh, that works. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this for years. We haven't done. But yeah, definitely got a great ROI from all of my work with you. And the knowledge within the mastermind is really amazing as well. So the knowledge in there, you say, I don't know how to do this thing. And someone goes, you do it like this. And you're like, okay, fabulous. Or someone else's question, like, I didn't even know you could do that. So it's hugely valuable from that point of view. Yeah, it's great. I'm a big fan.
I love that. And I think that's something that people maybe don't see, because I think when you're very head down, I think a lot of people come to me quite stressed. A lot of people come to me like quite not in a great place. Not everyone, but just saying, because I talk to all these people when they're thinking about buying. And I think you can get so overwhelmed with the detail of what you're doing. But when you actually look at the bigger picture of LinkedIn and those opportunities, like you say, that one person who saw that one post, that one comment, who do they know and who do they know? And then when they start to engage with your stuff, then all of their audience see it as well. So it's kind of like, there's so many opportunities. That's what I love about LinkedIn. Like, I'm a salesperson by nature as well. Like, I'm a business development person, really. Like, I love it. I love doing deals. I love looking for opportunities. And for me, LinkedIn's like so full of opportunities. Like, you can literally go down rabbit holes of people and look at their posts, and you can engage with them, and you just never know where it's going to lead. But also very interesting what you said about people do come out the blue. I think everyone will agree with that. They'll message you and be like, I've been watching you for ages, and you're thinking, I've no idea who you are, because you might be watching, but you're not commenting. It's not that kind of platform, right? So yeah, I love that. And again, I hear this a lot, and this was my experience when I started using LinkedIn like this, is that people don't want to negotiate on price because they're only asking you. They're not saying, well, all right, yeah, send us a proposal and we're going to speak to 3 other people. It's like, we've got a problem, we know you can solve it, we're motivated to solve it. You know, the funds is like the final part of the equation, right? As long as it's within their budget. And I think that's really powerful as well. You sort of get out of that, again, that sort of anxiety of like, oh, I've got to compete with people, and I've got to get my pricing absolutely perfect, and I've got to see what everyone else is doing, and I've got, got to display value. And it's like, actually, this is what I said yesterday. It's about making people feel dead clever that they found you. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost manipulative in a way, because people always say, like, I can't believe I found you. And like, they're really pleased to bring me in and pay, and like, I've had times where people literally walked into a training in Mercedes and almost got like this hero's welcome. This woman was like, I can't believe you're here. I'm so excited to meet everybody. This is Helen. I've followed her for years. She's great. Just me. And I'm thinking, like, this is insane. But she was kind of like, there was no way she was putting that out to tender. She was like, oh, let's get you in. And, she was kind of like, because you're on people's telly, right? If you're on their LinkedIn all the time, it's like you're on their telly. So you can create your own broadcast channel, like the Nicola Lutz channel. You decide what to put on there. But if people are watching, then, Daniel talks about 7 hours of content, right? If they're seeing you most days when they're opening up their feed and they're watching, like say, watching a video here, reading an article there, seeing you post something else there, voting on a poll there, you just become integrated into their lives without them almost noticing. But yeah, again, I also get spotted. I told this story. I was in the pub. I was single as a Pringle. I was in the pub, and this guy was like over the bar. I was watching the bar. I was like, and then he came over and said, Are you Helen Pritchard? I was like, yeah. He went, oh, I follow you on LinkedIn. And I was like, oh, right. Like, oh, yeah. And he was chatting away, and then he's like, oh yeah, me and my wife love you. I was like, oh, okay, bye. See you later. But yeah, you become a little mini. It's very mini celebrity in some people's life. When they see you in real life, they're like, oh, I've seen you on. But yeah, so good ROI. That's what you're all about as well, Nicola. You're not here for the love and the good feelings. That's great, but it's about the solid ROI, which it sounds like you got pretty quick by selling £99 things. Right? I
got it really quickly. Yeah, it was pretty easy, and that was good to kind of keep the money coming in straight away whilst I built everything else up. I think. Yeah. So that was really good to see, does this work? Worth a try, give it a go. and everyone gives you lots of opinion in the group as well. So you kind of put your graphic up and say what you think, and you get feedback. It's without going out into the wider world first. So it's a really safe space as well.
And all that training's inside the program now, which is great. So again, I always say to people, if they're thinking, oh, it's £125 a month, it's like get your £99 thing set up and get a couple of those sold a month, and then you can kind of relax and you've got your return on your investment. Everything's a bonus from then on. Yeah, good. Thanks, Nicola. So I know some people have to go actually. Sorry, Nasima, did you have to go early?
I have 10-15 minutes. So
let's go for it then. You're up next. Tell everyone what you do and then what your sort of journey's been like.
So hi. So I have a full-time job. I'm a project manager in a technology company. And at the back end of last year, actually, I saw a few challenges go past me on Facebook through the advertising. And I was like, well, I'm going to stay on Instagram and Facebook for the time being. And then one day I was like, but hang on a minute. I think the people I want to talk to, like, because I was going into niching down. I think like they are scientists and they are engineers and it's professional. So I think I'll find them easier and it'd be easier to talk to them on LinkedIn. So I joined the LinkedIn challenge in November last year, the November run, or was it the December run? One of those.
Yeah.
And I was resisting all the activities. I was like, yeah, but it's all good. Like I said, doing your headline, but I don't really know how to do mine, and I can't really do a tangible thing. And I like, what are you gonna do? Like adding 10 people a day, and then you're gonna be going into LinkedIn jail. And so I was resisting a lot. And then I got to do it. And every time I was doing the activity, I was like, okay, like there's something there. And I was like, well, I want to dive deeper. So I invested into the mastermind. And then I went full in January, and I was like posting 4 times a day, and I was so excited, but I still had to nail down my headline because I didn't want to be tangible. I was like, I just don't know how to do it. And then one thing leading to another, I was a bit less consistent February, March, and then went back to it in still posting once a day, but not like necessarily as consistent in the adding people, etc. And then fast forward, it was probably a month or 2 months ago, I decided to kind of be more specific in how I was speaking on LinkedIn. And I had a lead coming through, but she didn't buy anything. She was just like, yeah, I'm interested, and then it flopped. And I actually launched 2 a masterclass and a program, and I got nothing. Like I got this one lead and another one who I talked to at the conference, and nothing else. And I was like, damn, like it's not something's not working. So then I decided, get your head down and just do the things. I think it was as I was about to change my tagline to something actually something tangible, somebody reached out. Literally, this guy is a second connection, so I don't even know how he saw my content. I don't even know how he found me. And he was like, well, can you do that for me? Can you coach me? And I was like, well, yeah, it's £100. And he was like, okay. But 24 hours later, he paid. And then we had the session on Monday, and it was brilliant. So I was like, what is happening? Like, just as I was posting more and like being more consistent and being more specific about who I wanted to work with. And I was just shocked. I was like, no, this guy must be a scam. Like something must be happening. Like he's gonna ask me to marry him or something. Like there's something. I know the guy was like super serious, and he's booked another session now. So yeah, I don't know what works, but it works.
I don't know how it works, but it works. Do you know how it works? It's magic. That's what it is. I think part of it, though, it is a strategy, and it is about being consistent, but it's also about having the mindset and being open to it as well. I think it does make a difference. Almost, I'm pretty like spiritual and woo, so it's almost like setting the intention that this is going to be great for me. This is going to bring great people into my life. All I need to do is show up, and then the trust that I'm going to, these people will find me. And I think if you can combine the kind of like hard-based strategy with the mindset of let's show up and do the work, and, not stop ourselves, because it's very common what you experience to do it, go all out, and then kind of fall off the bus, as we call it, and kind of, you know, slow down and maybe not come to a stop, but slow down, then ramp up again. I do it myself. You know, I'm not perfect consistency wise, but my inconsistent is probably most people's max consistency, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
you know, my baseline is kind of like what a lot of people would consider is quite heavy in terms of consistency. But when I ramp it up, when I set the intention, right, I'm gonna do this. Like I was saying to Paul, I was like, I really want to make 120 grand. Like, I think we should do this and this. Like when I know that, when I've got a goal in mind, a specific goal and a specific thing I want to sell to get there, I kind of set that intention, and then I go all in onto LinkedIn to build my presence again. And I build my presence in my engagement by doing more comments, and it's so simple and it's free and it's easy. But I will see my profile views go from 3,000 to 5,000, you know, within a month of being really consistent with putting out more comments. So, and it's always that one comment that you kind of think, oh, I can't do another comment today. And then you do the last one, and it's that one where someone messages you. It's like, oh, if only we knew this in advance, we'd know exactly what to do, but we don't, right? So, well, congratulations on getting your lead and your sale and your money in the bank.
exactly. Yeah, that felt pretty good. And I'm like, okay, what's next? And also to bounce back off what Nicola said, there's posts of mine that like some perform really well and some like have crickets, like literally like you think nobody's watching, nobody's interested. And then I get some shares and I get some random like follows of like my ICF, like they follow me, they find me and they follow me. So I think it's important to say that, you know, if you look at the numbers every day, you're just going to get, you know, depressed because, you know,
don't look at them. I'd like to take them away. The engagement metrics, I'd like to take them away and just focus on profile views, because that's where the money happens. Yeah, and the mindset shifts happen when people give you money, not when you get loads of likes and engagements. It's like people message me all the time, like sometimes complete randoms. I don't know why they think I'm going to give them advice if they're not like part of my world. But anyway, they're like, I've had a post go viral, what should I do next? And I'm like, I'll just keep posting, like. Yeah, it's like, well, the next one didn't do so well. I was like, well, I don't know, like, I'm not, it's just completely a dark art. So just keep showing up, you know. But yeah, good. But yeah, second degree connections who you've never heard of are usually most of your leads, I would say.
I've learned it now.
Yeah, it's good. Right, Fab, thank you. And when you need to go, just go, leave quietly, as they say on the, what was it? Oh, Clubhouse. That's what you used to do, wasn't it? Leave quietly. I was thinking about Clubhouse today. Right. Did somebody else need to go a bit early? Debbie, right. Over to you then next. Debbie?
Yeah, so how did I start following you? I don't know. It was on Facebook. You must have cropped up in my feed at some point a couple of years ago, and you were always just the graffiti lady. So in some ways, I've always tried to emulate that myself. I always tried to have something big behind me, because that was the real visual for me. You were the graffiti lady. And then, God, I don't know how. Anyway, I joined your mastermind earlier this year, and before that, I'd been sending messages to everyone going, "Oh, nice to meet you. I hope you're having a good day," whatever it was. And then you said, "Don't bother that, just connect." And I did just connect with someone, and I must have just got them right in the moment of an employee pain point.
Right.
And they were like, wow. And as soon as I got on the call, she was like, God, yeah, that's exactly how it is here. It's the same in every small business. Family problems, you know, overselling to managers. And literally I managed to sell to them like a $5,000 contract within, you know, on my second call. But I think I literally got them at that moment of pain, which was great.
Well, if you had no messages,
I don't think they'd been following me. They literally just connected at that moment. So I think I was particularly lucky. But if I look at my views, like you say about the profile views, you know, as soon as I started to do the full post, it literally went up to over 1,000. And before that was only on 600 a day. So yeah, that was really good. And I've just been on holiday for a couple of weeks, and it's already dropped back down.
I know, it's so annoying. You have to literally keep pedaling to keep it up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll be back on it. But I think just being part of the course and just watching you, it's just taught me, get over yourself, Deb. No one actually cares. Most people won't even listen to what you put out there. I started to do TikTok videos just because someone said it's a really good way to get subtitles on a video, and I just struggled with every other medium.
Oh no.
And then all of a sudden one day on TikTok, my son goes, "Oh, Mummy, look, you've got 10,000 views." And actually now that is an area that I'm growing. And I just use those as my video post then on LinkedIn. So but yeah, I think don't overthink it. Just get on with it and get it out there and get over yourself and do it. And it'll start to lead, and the leads coming in. And then obviously I followed up with a further course with yourself. which if I'm honest, I can't say it's been successful yet, but that's my fault because I haven't managed to get the steps in fully yet. But I've got all the documents, and it's my goal by the end of September to have that. But to get even that £5,000 contract was amazing. So, you know.
Good. It's always nice. It's almost like, oh, got my return on investment, and then you're just making money on me. It's great. Like, that's what I want. And I think,
as you say, I mean, people weren't quibbling the price. They were just like, it's almost like they'd seen you, they liked what you were saying, and they didn't have comparators. They just went, yeah, okay, that's great, we'll go with that.
Yes.
So,
and because people feel like they found you, they've fallen over you, and they feel dead clever. I mean, it's like, it's honestly, it's very underrated because people hate to be sold to. It's almost like, have you stopped caring how people are, Debbie? Because you've stopped asking every connection how their day's going, right? You've not, right? But you can just show up and be like, I hope everyone's having a great day. And it's kind of like, and then people are magnetized to you rather than repelled by another inbox, another DM. I always forget for the newbies.
But I just delete them.
Yeah, the newbies to me, I forget that this is a core part of my message. We don't send any DMs. We don't ask people how they are, how their days are, and we don't respond to people who ask us either, because they're just trying to sell to us, just like we're trying to sell to them, right? If we're doing it in the DMs. And when you get rid of that, feeling of sending endless DMs and getting either ignored or rejected or blocked or abuse, like they're the only things that really happen.
You just feel quite sleazy as well, I think, doing that. Like, it just doesn't feel natural for me to be doing that. So actually, it's great to have that taken away.
Yeah, like think about the time people spend doing that. I know a lot of coaches teach it. They're like that, you know, and I'm sure, and it does work. You send 100 messages, one person you might catch them at the right time, right? It's inside a shop asking people if they want to get Sky TV, right? Just like, you know, it works. Like telesales works, but it's how does it make you feel? You know, it's like, how does it make you feel, and what does it do to your reputation? And a lot of people have argued the toss with me over the years, but it always comes down to that question: how does it make you feel? And I've done it. I wouldn't teach things I hadn't tried. And it makes me cringe when someone responds to something and I'm like, oh my God, I DM'd you in 2015. Like, I feel like I need a shower. You know, and sometimes people will screenshot it and put it on arguments with me. And I'm like, yeah, of course I've DM'd people. I want to see if it worked. But it didn't work. And it made me feel horrible and gross. And like, I don't want to look at it, you know? But some people are doing that all day, every day, and spending hours doing it, thinking that's marketing, business development, when actually it's just soul destroying and a lot of admin. So, and also a lot of people do respond out of politeness. So then what do? You got to have a conversation with all these people. You got to start being friends. You got to making thousands of friends and no clients. Whereas I like to make clients and some of them turn into friends, right? I don't try and make loads of friends and hope some turn into clients, because I'm kind of busy. And it's a shame, because I always say when people do it, it's nice people, like you're a nice person, Debbie, just badly trained in that, like they thought this was how you did LinkedIn, when actually, you know, you don't need to do it like that. So good. I like that you said it was luck to get that client, but I say it's divine timing, because if you hadn't have asked to connect with them at that moment, they wouldn't have known who you were. They wouldn't have looked at your headline. They wouldn't have looked at your profile, and they wouldn't have sent you a message. So yeah, got to thank the universe for that one.
And yeah, I've just had a couple of other leads as well. I think just because I'm always in everyone's feed. Like no one can, and everyone says, God, you're always on LinkedIn, Deb. And I think, but as you say, try and do it in 20 minutes if you can. So I try not to. It might look as though I'm always on it, but I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. People say, you're always on LinkedIn. I'm like, actually, I'm not. I'm barely on LinkedIn, because it's not really like I do like, sometimes I'll go down rabbit holes and spend a while in there, but from a business development point of view, I'm in and out and I'm done, and people find that almost
TikTok's a rabbit hole. That's a nightmare.
TikTok is a rabbit hole. Yeah, that's a fun rabbit hole full of cute things like puppies and nice people with the tops and other stuff. That's just in my feed anyway. Yeah, but good. I like that. And I think a lot of people think, oh, this isn't for me because I sell a product, or because I sell B2B, or because I'm in a job. It's like, it still works. It doesn't really matter what it is that you're selling. I think people find that challenging sometimes to believe, because we do have a lot of coaches and consultants. It's just natural, isn't it? If you do a lot of online marketing, that's coaches are in the zone of online marketing, so they see the challenges, they see the stuff, they're receptive to the Facebook ads, you know. So I think you do attract a lot of people. But in my consultancy days, when I was going out and doing training, which seems wild now, like literally getting on a train, going to London, standing in a boardroom, just wouldn't do it now. But anyway, big companies. Like I did a big energy company. I did what they call Panorama, did some training for them. And, so it almost doesn't matter what you're selling, it still works. So yeah, good.
Thank you.
And well done for doing the work, right? That's to everyone on this call. Yes, of course, I've chosen people that I know I've got great results, but it's also like you only get the good results by doing the work, and when I've in the past got calls for people, quite famous content, which is in the portal, I think, and I said, who's not made their money back? And a lot of people like me, and I got everyone on a call, and I went through everyone's LinkedIn, and it was like, it started to get really awkward because people were like, oh yeah, I've not, so well, I don't like, I don't do this or don't do that, or I don't like doing that, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I'm like, that's fine, but that's not why you've not got your money back. You're not getting your money back because you're not doing the work, you're not able to push past that. So it's all good. Right, Claire B, one of my favorites, because you're just so consistent with showing up to the calls and so consistent with just doing the work even when it's hard. And that's why I wanted to invite you on, because I know a lot of people will, like, you tell your story. I think a lot of people will.
I'm definitely, I'm a plower honor, aren't I? I'm not necessarily like I'm not a jump on everything and run with it immediately person, but I do have a go. My Helen story, let's start with that. So I did, having similar to Nishima, what she said, I saw a couple of challenges and I think I'd registered for a couple and then gone, I haven't got time. And it was in, COVID was going on and there was all that stuff. And I don't know, I think one of them, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to sit in the garden. I was awful. I was such a knob. Anyway, eventually by March 2021, I'd had enough of doing what I was doing, which was basically, I'd been working for a firm before COVID hit, and they were lovely. She was a graphics designer, she's a painter. And as I left there, the guy who ran it, who was very good at marketing, was like, well, you are a copywriter, Claire. You do realise that? I've been working in marketing for thousands of years. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, that's what I really love doing. And so, of course, I've tried to kind of refine my offer a little bit before I came into Helen's world. And so I was talking about being a copywriter, but I was doing it for anyone who would come my way and throw a few pound notes in my direction, and it was really exhausting. And it wasn't consistent. I wasn't getting consistent money in, and it was just not working. So eventually, March 2021, I was like, right, I'm going to not just do this challenge, I'm actually going to see it through right the way to Friday, actually do the whole bloody thing and do the tasks. And I remember one of the tasks was to do a video. I'm not sure if you've got to that point yet.
Friday that, but yeah.
I thought you were going to say that. So I'm sure I remember it being on the Friday. And I remember the task came out in the morning, and then I was like, oh my god, really, and the whole day I was just like, oh this is awful, I can't believe I've got to do a video, I can't believe I've got to do this. And then I think you did your live with wine that evening, and there was a bit of a technical glitch, and it meant like things were going on, and it was like 10 minutes or something, and you'd be like, well, if you haven't done your live yet, you've got 10 minutes, go and do it. And I was like, bugger it, I'm just going to do it now. So, right, okay. And I did it, and I felt like an absolute idiot. And of course, the thing that I've learned over time is that actually, as you're building up your profile and all of that kind of thing, people don't see all the stuff all the time, and that's why we have to keep posting, right? Because people don't see all the stuff all the time. So although people may have seen that video, that first video, number one, it's way back in the archives a billion years ago. Actually, I'm quite proud of it because it was kind of all right. I don't think it was that awful. But that's how it goes. It's kind of like I quite often speak to my own clients now, and I talk about there's a lyric in the Beatles song which is to do with yesterday's papers, and I quite often think about that when I'm doing something and I don't want to do it, and I have to get myself over that hurdle, because it's like, once I've finished, it's yesterday's news. it's gone off somebody's feed, it's dropped off, and it's fine. Even if you make a mistake, it's fine. We all do that. But I was just thinking as well, in terms of ROI, like I actually had my first client within, I think, about a month, and it was a £2,000 website writing project.
Nice.
From an ideal client. So I'd niched from being like this general marketeer to a copywriter to then grinding my teeth and going, okay, Helen, I will
I
niche
remember this.
further. And I was like, oh, the most reluctant person ever. And then I niched and I chose basically. I just was like, oh, I don't know, I've got a friend who's a photographer, he's always asking my opinion about stuff, I'll choose photographers. And it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely amazing. And I've been kind of, it takes time, but I've been welcomed into communities. And I was just thinking about, you know, how it all works with LinkedIn. So I started, and I spent ages thinking of £99 things, and I wafted around, and I went in the group, and I was like, what about this one? What about that one? And I had a few false starts, and that's fine. And then I started actually offering to write people's LinkedIn profiles for them for £99. You know, I still do it now, but I charge a bit more. But I was doing it as a power hour to go through their LinkedIn profile with them. And somebody saw me, and he was a guy who I'd started following in my early days, and he was like a photography mentor. He had like thousands of photographers following him, and I was like, oh God, he's quite scary. And he approached me, and I was like, oh no. It was kind of like a bit like if Helen had approached me out of the blue, I'd be like, oh my God, what am I going to say to him? It's the same kind of deal in the photography industry. And actually in the end, you know, he's become like a brilliant business mate of mine, you know, and he refers me to, he brings me photographers. I've edited his books for him. I've got loads and loads of people in my network. He just as a result of a referral from him, I've now got a speaking opportunity with the British Institute of Photographers coming up. Yeah, it's just like loads and loads of stuff going on. And you know, and I was thinking as we were talking at the beginning here, I wonder, you know, I've been on LinkedIn earlier today, but I thought, I wonder if there's any like my stats and stuff. And just while we've been talking, I've got a lead from someone who's booked a discovery call with me, you know. And at one point that was terrifying. That would have like been like, go stick my head under the duvet for 10 minutes. I don't know what to say to this person. And now I'm like, oh cool, yeah, okay, that's fine, we can do that. But it's all because you keep coming up, and the group, the other thing I was going to say, actually, and I must say this because it's really important, I think, for me, just having the support of Helen and the group as a whole is massive, because like doing this stuff on your own is so hard, and not knowing what to do next, and not being brave enough to try the thing, and actually having a bunch of people behind you saying, just do it. Like if you don't do it, you'll never know. Right. And then just like being your cheerleaders and being there to pick up the pieces if it doesn't quite work as you planned. It's fine. Doesn't matter. You can go invent something else. That's the joy of being an entrepreneur, right? The joy of running your own business. You can go, well, okay, that's fine. I can tweak it. I can change it. I can add something else or make more money. So, and that's the other thing, is making more money. You know, there's always an opportunity. I've been really grateful for that recently, that, you know, for us as self-employed people, we're going into turbulent times, right? We're going into what's going to be quite difficult. And actually, I'm very glad to not be in an employed role and reliant on not being made redundant and wondering what to do next and all of that terrifying stuff, which is, or even to have this as a side hustle, to be able to say, actually, I've got a side hustle that I know I can develop because I've got a paid role and I can do this as a side, but I know it can work and I can make some extra income. And you can, like, quite quickly. And without too much hard work. So yeah.
But this is also lovely to hear, Claire, because you have really dug deep. And I still remember the call when we were talking about niching to photographers, and you were just like, what do I do? Just pick one. I was like, yeah, let's just pick one and go for it, you know. And you were like, right, fine. And then even though it must have seemed insane, you know, and I think a lot of people think, well, I'm not making any money or I'm not getting clients as a generalist. Like, why on earth would I specialize? Because then it'd be less people. And it's like, it's so, like, look at that story now of you just going, right, I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to be that person. And now that guy would never have approached you if you hadn't been a specialist. And now look at the, you know, the connection you've got there, that great relationship. And like I say, the work, and you're going to become the go-to person for this thing. But you can't say that to somebody when they're looking at me on the camera going, this is insane. Why are you making me pick a niche? You know, it's like, because I want you to see 12, 18 months in the future where you'll be like, oh my God, that decision was the best decision I ever made. But it's like, I can't do that. I haven't got a crystal ball, but I've got lots and lots of experience, years and years of experience of this stuff, including with myself, right? And I think it's like, it's so powerful to see the journey from me literally going, Claire, we have to pick something. What you're doing isn't working. And it's brutal, you know, and I'm sure you don't mind. We've had tears from you over the time where things have been really challenging. You know, we've been friends all the way through this whole journey, you know, of like showing up even when you were having a hard time, even when you weren't making money, even when you're like, what on earth have I done here? I've invested in this woman and I just don't know what's going on. And it's like to hear you, that last bit there, where it makes me want to cry. It's like so powerful, because it's almost like you've unlocked the magical key to the kingdom now. It's like you say, you can go and make money, and that's what I want for everybody. That's what I'm so passionate about. I don't care whether people make an extra 100 quid a month and that means that they can pay the electric bills, or they make an extra £1,000 a month, which means that they can save up for a dead nice holiday, or an extra 10 grand a month so they can completely transform the way that they live their lives. I'm not bothered. What I am bothered about is to give people the keys to that castle that says, do you know what, I need to make more money, or I want to make more money, either or, doesn't really matter. And I've got mechanisms and I've got a system and I've got a procedure to follow. And like I say, it doesn't always work, and that's okay. And like I say, it's almost like the fun of the game. It is a game. It is a game. You've got to, there are kind of rules to it, and I think as long as you follow the rules and you stick to it, it's like, it's so much fun. And yeah, you should be super proud of yourself, Claire, because you've dug deep when it's been really difficult, and I'm really pleased for you.
Thank you. No, I love it. And if anyone's sitting on the fence, just do it. I mean, it may feel like, and at the time, that was the other thing, it felt like a huge ton of money at the time. And I just got used to it. I got used to it going out my account, and I was like, actually, you know what, this is worth every penny. Every single time I had a fumble, every time I didn't know what to do, that was the first place I went, was straight in the group. Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if you're in other programs and stuff like that, but it felt like you were very focused in listening to what we were saying, getting the support from that group, and that we really helped, you know, carried that with you. And I think some people do get overwhelmed. They're in lots of different programs, they're following lots of different mentors and coaches, and they're kind of like, oh well, when this isn't working, I'm going to go and do that other thing. Forget that, I'm going to go and do something else with this other person, rather than thinking, actually, let's just dig deep with this one and use this community. So yeah, but now you give as much as you take, right? You're a really big cheerleader for the community, and you help people who are feeling like you were feeling, and I think that's really powerful, and that's the beauty of the community, right? People pay it back in.
Yeah, too right. Love it. Thanks, Helen. Thanks, everyone.
Love it. I love this stuff. It makes me feel like dead proud of myself. So I'm like, I made this happen. That's great. You made it happen, but you know what I mean? I created the environment for this stuff to happen. Right, last but definitely not least, another one of my faves. Hello.
So thanks. Can I just say that I've been listening to everybody talking, and you, Helen, like, this is where I'm going to get emotional. You have not changed your message since I found you, I think in 2017. You've been saying the exact same thing, and that is why I love you, because
5 years
it's been about helping people make money and helping people. That has just always been your thing. I want to help you do what I did, and here's a really simple thing you can do. And it worked. Like you said there, I've been making notes whilst everybody was talking, because you said, look, 12 to 18 months in the future, if you could only have a crystal ball. It took 3 days for me of doing your work to get leads. 3 days.
Tell your story, because I do love your story, and I love it all the time, so it's good to hear it from you.
It's given me goosebumps just thinking about it, because I'm doing a new thing now, but the reason I came here today was to talk about the old thing, which is still happening. I'm still making money from the business I was able to launch because of you. So I had started my VA business in 2017. I just had a baby. I was brilliant at it. I knew I could do a really good job. I'd been a PA for years. I had one client who was a friend, and I was asking, like, on Facebook to my friends, can you please recommend me to somebody? Oh, does anybody know anybody who needs somebody? And it was like just tumbleweed or crickets or whatever it was, Nasima said earlier. So nothing was happening, and I had no idea how to market myself. And I think it was somebody in like a VA group shared your challenge, Helen. I think that's how I found you, and it was like one of the first ones you had done. So I feel so lucky that I was there as well, like right in the early days, because it was just amazing.
Is that when I
Like
used to do
you-
like 2.5 hour lives because I just
Yeah.
answered all the questions. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
and I remember you being like really by the Wednesday, like having a real moment because you realized how many of us you'd helped even by the Wednesday. Remember you having like sitting with your hair on top of your head. Remember you saying?
in my pajamas. I used to be in my pajamas.
Just going, oh my God, like it was so cool to be on that challenge with you. And I was going to go for a job because it wasn't working. I was going to go, I'd be like, had an interview, I think that Friday.
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, oh, I just don't want to do it. It's like a 9 to 5. And, you know, I knew I could probably get it, but I was like, I really don't want to do this. I've got my son at home. I just want this business to work. I so knew I could do it. And you gave me the methods to market myself. And I got on LinkedIn and I followed every step. And like everybody has said, I was so raging because I didn't want a niche. I was like, what? I can help so many people. I can help everybody. And you were like, no, pick somebody. And because my client, that my lovely friend client was a coach, an executive coach, I was like, okay, then I'll pick executive coaches. Like worked out my ideal client with you. And I think the day I changed my headline on LinkedIn, the Wednesday, I got a lead.
You did?
Just from that.
You did.
And I think, like Miss you said as well earlier, my husband was like, this is a scam. There's no way that person, there's no way it can be that. And I was like, and I actually felt a bit the same. I thought, I can't believe this. It was just like the perfect person. And they were saying that thing to me that I wrote down earlier as well. I can't remember who was Nicola, was it you maybe said it, that thing of, oh, you've come to me at the right time. Like, how have you found me? How did you do this? And I was like, you know, it's just amazing. Like they come to me and say, oh, you just appeared. This is perfect. You know, like it just all came together. And I think my client list was full by 2 or 3 weeks after having done that challenge. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The interview, did you?
And I didn't go to the interview, didn't have to. It made the decision like on the Friday morning. I could have gone and I just thought, nah, I'd had like 2 or 3 leads by the end of the week. So that one on the Wednesday, and then I'd had 2 or 3 more people contact me that same week. So, I mean, I've invested in you in various different ways since then, because I just trust you completely and it just works. It works. I don't think I've ever sent a DM on LinkedIn in the 5 years since I did the challenge.
So that's a long time though, because you didn't change what you were doing for 4 years. So have you consistently been getting leads on LinkedIn? Yeah.
Consistently, to the point where I turned people away. I had to turn people away until I got associates. So then I had a team of associates working for me. I still have clients that I got. So that first person who contacted me on the Wednesday is still a client of mine. I had a call with her yesterday.
That is an ROI, that isn't it? 4 years of paying you consistently.
Every single month on a retainer. So there's a few of those who contacted me in that week who are still on my list of clients now.
So what would you say to any VAs thinking about joining?
Oh my God, I don't even think about it. Just do it. Just do it. You will get work. VA work is it is so useful to so many people, and I think it's, if you're a really good VA, if you've got any sort of experience. I mean, I remember having a hot seat. I think it was whenever you were doing your 15-minute calls, Ellen, that week of the challenge.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying to me, what you've got is gold dust, because I had experience as a PA. So I remember you saying to me, you've got the experience, so you'll get clients. And I did, and I knew I could do it. So I think especially if you have experience, the methods will work really well. Talk about what you've done, talk about your, share your testimonials.
Yeah. Talk about your story of why you're a VA. And I think people really buy into that your own personal story. But I love VA. So when anyone comes to me and is like, I'm a VA, will this work for me? I'm like, literally, yes.
Yes.
And the reason why is twofold, really. One, because if I can get a VA to niche into what they do and who they do it for, it works super quick and it's great. And it's easy to find clients on LinkedIn, right? But the second thing is because VAs are really disciplined. So if I say to them, right, I need you to do this post, I need to add 10 people, I need you to do like your 30 comments, whatever, they're like, oh yeah, then they just get on with it and do it as if it's like a client work. And that's why our VAs get really good results. Yeah. Anyone who's admin disciplined in any way like that, who's good at sort of just sitting there. And this is the thing, like you said, I've been saying the same thing for 5 years. Sometimes you just got to grind it out.
I know.
Got to grind it out. You know, I've done hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of hours of guest experts. I've got one today.
Yeah.
I've not stopped doing it because
Exactly.
that's how I get my business. You know, I injured myself at the kickboxing gym before, and I am in before I started this call, a vile mood.
Oh no.
Like I was just like, I hate my life. I've just come from a broken foot. Now I've hurt my foot. I can't walk. How am I going to walk to the community centre for the Queen's funeral on Monday? And all that kind of stuff. And I was like in a really bad mood. But you show up and you do the work, right? Now I feel great, right? But it's
I was going to say, yeah, do you not feel good here?
I feel amazing now. I've forgotten about my life. It's fine. But it's kind of, sometimes you've got to grind it out, and that's business.
Yeah. And I do think VA work, especially at the minute, I think because it's B2B, there's, you know, I think there's so many people still need VA work. So it's not one of those things that is maybe going to suffer as much in the next coming months. I think people will always need VA support. Always. And they're always looking. I mean, there's always people coming to me saying, I still get leads, even though I'm not even talking about the VA stuff anymore. But I still get leads, and I'm pointing people in the direction of VAs that I know. So there's just always people looking for support. Yeah. So do you want to, just before we finish, want to talk about what you're doing now, or what we're doing now? Yes. So Helen is my amazing business partner in my new business. It's called My Food in France. I've had a little bit of time off there over the summer, so I have seen what happens when I'm not posting. So I need to get back on and do a lot more. So I'm going to get back to my 4 posts a day. The consistency, the adding people. I've been adding people and commenting and things, but just not as many posts. So I'm doing, I've got a foodie membership over on Facebook. I have cookery classes every month. Helen has helped me niche down in terms of who my ideal client is for that. And it's going to be really interesting to do a sort of a very, very different business, but using LinkedIn as the platform. So so I'm going to have time now as well, because the kids are all away now. They're at nursery and school from last week. So I'm like, right, can't wait.
And you'll be putting on retreats and that, yeah? Yeah,
I'm going to be doing retreats. Hopefully in May next year is going to be the first one. Corporate clients as well. I'm looking forward to do cookery classes for teams, that type of thing online. So yeah, really excited.
And again, you came, like you say, you bought a fair few things off me over the years, and one of the things you bought was that hot seats, wasn't it? It was like a paid hot seats thing, and it was like a sort of, I don't know, get your shit together. Fall, and you were like,
it was business clarity. It was clarity, because I had the foodie idea, but I didn't know how to make it in a thing, and you helped me with that.
Made it in a thing. We made it a thing.
We made it a thing. We did.
Good, great. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes the rest of this year and beyond. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's like my oxygen. This. It's like I can breathe. It's amazing again. Like it's just.
You are amazing, Helen. You are.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Don't make me cry. Right. Okay. I can't. Right. You're all amazing, and I'm going. Right. Lots of fun. Thanks, guys.
Bye.